the AFC South looks like it could be wide open. Let's talk about it. Alright, let's start off with the Houston Texans, who first and foremost should put the franchise tag on Jadeveon Clowney, their top free agent. He's a big part of their defense, and they can afford to do it with $74 million in cap space. Now, what else do they need? They need help at both corner and safety. Jonathan Joseph's getting up there in age, and Kevin Johnson has not looked like a first-round pick. And at safety, Tyrann Mathieu is a free agent, and they really don't have a lot of guys that can be starters back there. Gotta get some help there, and get some help on the offensive line. Deshaun Watson was sacked more than any other quarterback in the league. Get him some protection. And this year they do have a first-round pick. Last year they didn't. And later in the first round, it's where you find the value with offensive linemen. As the things to look at. Look at Will Fuller. Will Fuller was having a breakout season until he got hurt. He looked like he was going to be the number 2 to Hopkins when he got hurt. How do they build off of last season? They got to the playoffs. Now, can they build off of that and get into a deep playoff run instead of being a one and done? And I like to keep an eye on this running game because Lamar Miller, yes, he's a good player, but I don't know if they should just stick to a guy like Miller. Maybe they should look to free agency, look to the draft a guy that can help him out. I don't know if he can do it by himself. Indianapolis has the most going for them in the offseason right now. One, they have $107 million in cap space, so they can use that to get some big-time free agents, get some starters that can help them immediately. 2, they don't have a lot of big-time free agents. Their biggest free agent is probably Pierre Dussault because he was a really good player for them last year, and that's the best one I could find. And 3, they had probably the biggest finish out of anybody in the league last year, which leads to some questions. Can they get off to a hot start next year? Last year they started 1-5, and then they just shot out of a cannon and were able to get to the playoffs. And they do have some questions. One is at wide receiver. T.Y. Hilton can't do it by himself for much longer. They've got to find somebody to help him out. Pass rusher. They don't really have a guy that can rush the passer on a consistent level. They got to find one. Luckily, this draft class is full of pass rushers. With their 26th overall pick, maybe they'll find somebody there. And number 3, they need to get some corners. They need some guys in the secondary that can cover receivers. And one more thing, the rushing game. Marlon Mack did a really good job as a rookie last year. Will they put all their trust into him, or will they try to sign somebody or draft somebody to help him out? Jacksonville maybe has the most problems to deal with this offseason in the AFC South. One, they have minus $4 million in cap space, so they got to make some room, which leads to some tough decisions on who they're going to keep and who they're going to cut. Blake Bortles did not live up to their expectations when they gave him that contract extension, so they're probably going to be looking for a quarterback. To go along with that, they need some wide receivers and tight ends. That receiving corps was one of the worst in the NFL, and they need some offensive linemen. They got to protect whoever's going to play quarterback and open up holes for Leonard Fournette. Speaking of Fournette, they got to make sure that they can rely on him. Last year he got hurt, and he had some antics on the field. He's got to be reliable for them. And they have the 7th overall pick. Now that's a little bit of a problem. This is a defensive-heavy draft, and they have needs on the offensive side of the ball. They may try to trade down, or they could try to trade up to make sure they get a quarterback. And a few other things. TJ Yeldon is their top free agent. He's been a solid number 2 for them ever since he came into the league. But I don't think they're going to re-sign him because he may be asking for more money than they can give. And also, this defense. This team is only going to go as far as the defense can take them. They got to make sure that the defense is up to par next year. And finally, we have the Tennessee Titans, who really have some question marks. One for me is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry finished the season off very strong last year. Can he do it again? Can he just do it one more time? I just want to see him do it again. Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota has had 2 down years. Can he rise back up to what he was doing his rookie and sophomore year and show Tennessee that he is their quarterback? And they also are going to have needs at wide receiver. Corey Davis showed that he can be a number 1 in this league. He's got potential. However, they need to get some more receivers to help him out. And maybe also find a replacement for Delanie Walker. He's not going to play forever, and he's coming off an injury. He also needs it both outside linebacker and on the defensive line. Jerome Casey can't do it by himself, and Derek Morgan is a free agent. They've got to shore those two up. And with $40 million, they can do that. And their top free agent is Derek Morgan. He has been one of their better players on defense. A little underrated, if you ask me. He's been very good for them. or are they going to try to keep him? And the last thing for me, can they become more of a complete team? Last year, they had some really good wins against the Eagles and the Patriots, but they also had some questionable games that they probably should have won. Can they become more of a complete team and be more consistent? If they become more consistent, maybe they're the ones that are going to end up winning the AFC South like they probably should have done last year. Alright guys, that's the end of the AFC South. Next up is the NFC South. See you then.